Today, we're diving into the top 10 prepper mistakes that could cost you everything. You know, I've faced some hairy situations in my time, from the scorching deserts to the frozen tundra, and let me tell you, survival is all about preparation. But here's the thing, it's not just about having a bunker full of beans and bandages. It's about having the right mindset, the right skills, and the right plan. Avoid these survival-killing errors to ensure you're truly prepared when disaster strikes. We're about to expose the critical mistakes that could mean the difference between life and death when things go south. Trust me, out there in the wild, there are no second chances. I've said it before and I'll repeat it. Adaptability is key. You can't always predict what Mother Nature throws at you. A flash flood might wash away your planned escape route, or a blizzard could leave you stranded. Relying on a single plan is like trying to climb Everest in flip-flops, a recipe for disaster. You need backup plans, folks. Alternate routes, different survival strategies. Think of it as having multiple escape routes from a burning building. What if your primary food source is contaminated? What if your bug-out location is overrun? You need to be able to adapt and improvise, to think on your feet when the pressure is on. Remember, out in the wild, flexibility is just as important as a sturdy pair of boots. Look, having a well-stocked pantry is great. It's like having a safety net, a comfort zone. But what happens when that food runs out? What happens when you need to hunt for your next meal, build a fire with nothing but sticks and stones, or find clean water in a desolate landscape? That's where real survival skills kick in. It's not enough to just hoard supplies, you need to know how to use them. Can you purify water using nothing but a plastic bottle and sunlight? Can you build a shelter that'll protect you from the elements? These are the skills that separate the survivors from the statistics. Remember, knowledge is just as vital as any gear you can pack. It's about being self-reliant, resourceful, and ready for anything. Imagine this. Disaster strikes and you're forced to evacuate. You've got your bug-out bag, your supplies, everything you need to survive. But there's one problem. You can barely lift the darn thing. Physical fitness isn't just about looking good, it's about survival. You need to be able to cover ground, to endure long hikes, to carry heavy loads if necessary. You think surviving in the wild is easy? It's a demanding, relentless test of your physical and mental limits, and if you're not in shape, you're already at a disadvantage. So, lace up those hiking boots, hit the trails, and get yourself in fighting form. The ticking time bomb of expired supplies. Here's a hard truth. That emergency food you've been hoarding, it won't last forever. Those batteries powering your radio, they have a shelf life. Many preppers make the fatal mistake of assuming their supplies are good to go when disaster strikes. But time waits for no one, and neither does decay. You need to be proactive. Regularly check your supplies for expiration dates, rotate your food stocks, using the oldest first, and don't forget about maintenance. That generator won't do you much good if it's choked with dust and cobwebs. Dehydration, the silent killer. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. And trust me, when the taps run dry, panic sets in fast. Stockpiling bottled water is a start, but it's not a long-term solution. You need to know how to find, collect, and purify water in the wild. Learn to identify natural water sources, from streams and rivers to springs and rainwater collection. Get yourself a reliable water filter or purification tablets, and know how to use them like a pro. Remember, water is life, and in a survival situation, it's your most precious commodity. Gear versus knowledge. The ultimate showdown. Don't get me wrong, having the right gear is important. A sturdy knife, a reliable fire starter, a quality compass. These tools can be lifesavers. But what happens when your fancy GPS unit runs out of batteries? Or when your high-tech water filter breaks? That's when your knowledge of primitive survival techniques comes into play. You need to be able to improvise, to adapt, to survive with nothing but your wits and the resources around you. Learn how to build a fire using friction methods, how to find edible plants, how to navigate using the stars. Because when the chips are down, it's not the gear that saves you, it's the knowledge you carry in your head. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Imagine this. You've spent months, even years, building your ultimate survival stockpile. Food, water, medical supplies, you've got it all. But then disaster strikes and your home is gone. Fire, flood, looters, whatever the cause, your carefully crafted preps are reduced to ashes. Never keep all your supplies in one location. Diversify your stash. Have a bug-out bag ready to go, a hidden cache in a remote location, and perhaps even a network of trusted friends or family who can store some supplies. Remember, spreading out your resources increases your chances of having something to fall back on when the unexpected happens. Out there in the wild, it's tempting to think you can go it alone. to rely solely on your own skills and resources. But trust me, the lone wolf rarely survives for long. Humans are social creatures, wired for connection and cooperation. And in a long-term survival situation, a strong, reliable group is your greatest asset. Find like-minded individuals who share your values and commitment to preparedness, build trust, share skills, and establish clear roles and responsibilities within your group. Remember, there's strength in numbers, and a united front can weather even the fiercest storms. In a survival situation, knowledge is power, but it can also make you a target. Boasting about your preps, showing off your stockpile, or posting about it online, these are all rookie mistakes that could cost you dearly. Remember, when the grid goes down and resources become scarce, desperate people will do desperate things. Maintain a low profile, keep your prepping activities discreet, and be selective about who you share your knowledge with. Look, having all the gear and skills in the world won't matter if your mind crumbles under pressure. Panic, fear, despair. These emotions can be just as deadly as any physical threat. Mental preparedness is about building resilience, about training your mind to stay calm and focused in the face of chaos. Practice mindfulness, visualize challenging scenarios, and develop coping mechanisms for stress and anxiety. Remember, prepping is more than just stockpiling. It's about being adaptable, resourceful, and mentally prepared for anything. Avoid these 10 deadly mistakes, or you risk losing everything when it matters most. Survival is about adaptability, skills, and smart planning. Take action now, because when SHTF, there are no second chances. Hone your skills, build your network, and cultivate the mental fortitude to overcome any challenge. Are you ready? Share this with your fellow preppers and make sure your survival plan is bulletproof. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you out in the wild.